This is not what homeschooling looks like. Who says homeschoolers can't learn effectively? We actually learn to love to learn.
Who said I can't be a homeschooling parent while having a full-time job? We actually don't waste time in traffic but spend more hours productively.
Who said homeschoolers are antisocial? We actually lead and build communities around the world.
Who said parents can't teach? We are actually designed to be their best teachers.
Who said homeschoolers can't land good careers? We actually have jobs.
Welcome to the Homeschool Orientation.
In this short video, we aim to answer 3 questions.
What is homeschooling?
Who is Homeschool Global?
And what are my next steps?
Let's get started. Homeschooling is not school at home. The definition we like to use is homeschooling is parent-led, home-based education to achieve true success. Now, what is true success? That is the end goal that every parent must ask themselves. What is the purpose of all of this? For our family, it is to help our children to love God with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. Now, it might be different for you, so the critical question is, what is the best way to help achieve that end goal of true success? What we've seen about homeschooling is it is optimal because it allows 3 things. Number 1, personalization. Number 2, flexibility. And number 3, values-based learning. Let's talk about flexibility and how this contributes to achieving true success. I have one word: time. You see, after the pandemic, the new currency really is time. We realize how fragile life is, how short these things are, so we want to value time. And when you are homeschooling, you're able to flex and control time and pace at your own. And if we step back a little bit, the norm of learning was actually flexible learning. It was the industrial age that changed things and created structure and standardization and birthed many of the conventional schools we see today. But we're no longer living in the industrial age. So we want to ask that question once again. How can our children have a flexible learning environment to pursue that which they're really supposed to? How much time is spent getting ready, traveling through traffic, waiting for teachers to arrive, and how much time is actually spent learning? In the classroom, there are school updates, schedule announcements, even sometimes the teacher's unrelated stories can honestly take time away from the actual lessons, so that by the time the lessons actually arrive, the brains of the students have gone through a lot, stifling learning and absorption. So, the data, what is it telling us today? In the world of education, researchers, including those from the World Bank, are loud and clear about the need for flexible learning and equipping today's generation for the challenges of this 21st century. Even Stanford has confirmed how effectively remote and flexible education, where content is served in bite-sized chunks, manages to engage hundreds of thousands of learners way better than the traditional long-hour lectures. They noted that going at one's own pace better prepare students for deeper understanding and top-notch problem-solving skills.
Thanks, hon. Hey. So now let's talk about personalized learning. You know, scientists will agree that no 2 brains are the same. In other words, for those of you who have more than one child, you understand that all your children are different. And yet education systems today are structured in such a way that it's like a cookie-cutter approach to learning. And this is because it's based on the old instructional core, where the teacher is primarily responsible for the content and passes that on to the students. But as we know, individuals, they all are different, and they vary in traits, in personality, and learning styles. As a mom of 6 kids, I know this personally. All my kids are different. So how can we expect standardized lessons and approaches that have been developed ages ago to apply to our own children who have different bents, different uniquenesses and strengths and talents and even dreams? So personalized learning is the way to go because it tailors instruction and content and the pace to meet the needs of the learners. We really want to honor the unique design of our children.
I want to jump on that and give you some data. According to NARI, a research institution based in the US, homeschoolers score up to 30% higher on standardized tests versus regular school students, particularly on the SATs, which colleges consider for admissions. Even the Journal of College Admission, as cited in a CBS News report, revealed that homeschoolers were found to go through college with higher grade point averages and graduation rates compared to other college students. This is why prestigious universities such as MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and Duke were found to actively recruit homeschoolers. My wife talked about the instructional core earlier. There's a lady named Dr. Liz City from the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and she showed a model of learning that involved the teacher, the student, and the contents. And that was the old model of learning, where the teacher was supposed to know much of the content so they could then pass it on to the student. So there was great dependence on the teacher. But the world has changed because the content has changed. Technology, the internet, ChatGPT, and other Gen AI tools allow for greater access from the student. So what does that look like today? It is no longer a teacher, it is instead a facilitator. It is no longer just a student receiving it, it is a learner who can drive that learning. So the goal of any good learning environment today, according to Dr. Liz City, is to not be that sage on the stage, but the scribe on the side, a good facilitator that brings and finds the right content that the student or the learner can then consume. That is the new world of learning. Given that learning is the critical piece today, we need to have a fundamental shift from asking, what is the best school for my child, to what is the best way for my child to learn. And speaking of ideal learning environments, Dr. Deborah Bell, a dear friend, conducted a study to find the qualities that best describe the learning environments for children. She identified 8 factors that help children learn best. And here is the powerful conclusion, which I love. And I've shared this and said this many, many times because it still rings true today. If we could build the ideal school or learning environment from the ground up, given what this research is showing today, we would actually be building a home.
We started homeschooling around more than 12 years ago. Our children that time is 4. So we've seen different characteristics from them and also experiences from the early schooling stages like yung prep, ganyan. Isa din sa gusto namin is yung mabago yung kung paano kami in-upbring ng parents namin. So through homeschooling, na-try namin i-customize kung ano yung saan sila mas matututo. For example, the other one, yung nakita namin na yung gifting niya nasa science. The other one is nasa math. Yung isa naman is nasa literature, English. Ganyan. So, we try na i-complement yung bawat isa.
I think for me, having 6 children, diba, it's given na they have different personalities, each of them are unique. 3 of them are adults already, and then the 3 are younger ones. So flexibility in our program is very important kasi I keep on changing on what will be applicable to each one of them. So it's one of the blessing of being homeschooled, and also we can let them try whatever they want, and then kung saan sila mag-excel.
So the final element of the ideal climate that builds success in learners is values-based education. It is hard to teach a child when his heart is not ready to learn. I mean, we've seen this with other kids. So just as Aristotle once said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And I think one of the most important and difficult things to achieve is to impart godly principles and values when it's just a screen. So characters form with intentional parenting in the context of a community where children get to engage and journey with others in real life instead of just over the internet.
Well said, honey. In fact, there's a study that says homeschoolers were found to be more adept with their social, emotional, and leadership skills, primarily developed through a strong sense of identity that stem from many opportunities to answer questions which we've seen, right? Who am I? What is my purpose? And they get that through their homeschooling journey. So from a social perspective, homeschooled adults were found to succeed in college and internalize the benefits, beliefs, and value systems of their parents better.
So if your children understand their identity and purpose, they will go through life much more effectively and much more confidently because they will not waste time trying to figure out who to please in school, how to spend their time and energy, and what to do in order to just fit in. In fact, they'll focus on further honing their abilities and utilizing their God-given gifts to play a more active role in building and shaping society.
The very reason why I homeschooled Liam and the rest of our children, because I want to impart to them the family values that I grew up with, which is based on biblical values, the godly values. Actually, Liam, I think I pulled him out at 5th grade. It was already painful for me to see Liam being influenced by other children, being corrupted by the system. After all the hard work, the time that I gave him, to raise him to be a fine young man. I'm thankful to the Lord for allowing us to homeschool our children. I think it is the best avenue to really give the values that you want to impart to your children. Especially right now, I am enjoying already their love, their obedience, their time. The best part really is we were able to impart the godly values to them.
I remember crying to my mom one night when I was in 5th grade when I learned that she had pulled me out actually from the school that I was in to be homeschooled, because as someone who wanted to be like a cool kid in school with all of my young boy aspirations, I wanted to, grow up with like a barkada in school. I wanted to have friends, and when I heard that she would homeschool me, that was really terrible in the back of my mind, because I thought every day I would just wash the dishes and memorize the dictionary and my best friend would be the maid. So all these like crazy ideas were coming to mind, and I was just crying in front of my mom as a little 12-year-old naive boy, because I thought, what am I gonna achieve at home? But little did I know that it would turn out to be such a blessing. After 1 year, my mom asked me if I wanted to go back to conventional school. And at that point, it was my decision to stay already, because I've personally witnessed the blessing of being with family, the blessing of understanding values and really developing my character. A famous quote that I like by Zig Ziglar, it says, "It is your attitude and not your aptitude that determines your altitude." In other words, it's really your character that brings you forward in life. And it's with my parents, I've learned to value that so much, and that's why I'm grateful for homeschooling. More than just the flexibility and the personalization that homeschooling allows me to learn how to learn, I'm really grateful for the intentionality my parents displayed towards me and my siblings, so that we imbibe the values, we uphold the character that are proven to bring success, not just financially, socially, physically, but the values that will really matter for eternity. And I'm really grateful for my mom especially for being intentional with all of us in that way.
So, homeschooling gives you the opportunity to become intentional by first reaching the hearts. This is so critical of our kids so that they develop the desire to learn. And in my experience as a homeschooling dad, we've seen this, right? Children will pursue knowledge not because they have to, but because they want to. And if there's one thing I've seen consistently across all kids who've been homeschooling for a while, it is that they have learned to love to learn.
I'm an HG homeschooler, of course. I learn not because I have to, but because I want to.
I'm an HG homeschooler. Of course I have access to these Hive hubs. Period.
I'm an HG homeschooler. Of course I have the time to travel a lot.
I'm an HG homeschooler. Of course I know I'm loved because my parents and this book here told me so.
I'm an HG homeschooler. Of course I have time to do the sport I love.
I'm an HG homeschooler. Of course I've met a lot of cool people here.
I'm an HG homeschooler. Of course I'm not scared of a school principal. My actions are grounded on firm principles.
Now to answer the second question, who is Homeschool Global? Homeschool Global had the privilege of pioneering homeschooling in the Philippines over 25 years ago. We worked with the Department of Education to set up the framework for homeschooling in the country and ran the first pilot homeschool program in the Philippines. Since then, we have innovated to over 8 learning programs which are designed to make homeschooling doable but also enjoyable for families and learners. Over the years, Homeschool Global has become truly global, with 13 hubs serving over 40,000 students around the world across 38 different countries.
HG is your ally in achieving effective learning, your schedule, your way.
To do that, much like going to a Home Depot for your home needs, you can come to HG to personalize an effective learning path for your children.
To enhance your homeschooling journey, we offer academic support, learning in community, special events, parent training, and access to premium learning resources. We also make it very convenient for you to connect with your advisor, register for events, and stay updated with all the exciting news happening within the HG universe.
And while the HG community is truly global, you also become part of smaller learn groups so you can develop deeper connections with homeschoolers nearby.
how you want to homeschool is up to you. We have several programs clustered into 3 general categories according to the level of support you prefer and how involved you want to be in your child's learning journey.
If you're a hands-on parent looking to structure your homeschooling experience, perhaps the Touch program is for you, as it features customizable curriculum for various learning types. If you're looking for a more supervisory role, then perhaps the Tech program is for you. It provides a conveniently pre-packaged curriculum and platform-based learning and grading. If you're looking for greater advisory support, then perhaps the Online Academy program is the best fit, as it offers the best of synchronous and asynchronous learning. We offer all of these homeschooling options to make homeschooling doable for you, even if you're starting with 0 teaching experience.
Through the years, you have been blessed to have partner schools that support HG's vision for flexible, personalized, and values-based education. We offer Philippine DepEd accreditation and U.S. Department of Education accreditation through our partner schools. Through these institutions, your child's school records will be recognized here and abroad, opening up exciting opportunities for him or her. We are proud and grateful that HG alumni have been blessed to be admitted to prestigious universities all over the world. With a wide network of seasoned homeschooling educators, vibrant learn groups and communities, in-house signature events, high school camps, sports fests, student clubs, varsity programs, and a desire to see your children and your family achieve true success, Homeschool Global is committed to providing you with holistic support to help you help your children achieve true success.
We finally arrived to answer the final question. What are my next steps? Well, it's fairly simple. Decide, choose your program based on your preferences, then enroll. But in order to decide, you need to know what you want to achieve at the end of the day. And my prayer from the bottom of my heart and representing everybody behind the system is that you will know why you are homeschooling. Why? Because this is what is going to drive you forward. My why, our family's why, and the people I know who are all behind the scenes is in Deuteronomy 6:5-7. It is to teach our kids to love the Lord with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. Because if that is their pursuit, then the best way to achieve that, in our humble view, is through this wonderful privilege called homeschooling. You and I are called to be intentional parents.
Homeschooling prepared me to be a leader and be responsible and really learn to adapt. And I think that's applicable not just in my culinary career, but also everyday life as well.
Homeschooling was worth it because it taught me to focus on growth and to embrace challenges, especially when I'm managing my team and trying to integrate new technology into their projects.
I had a lot of time to practice discipline, to practice freedom, and with freedom comes responsibility. I had a lot of time to learn my instruments. I had a lot of time to learn what I wanted to learn, but I had to make that choice to learn. And because of that, homeschool was worth it.
Homeschooling has built in me the personal disciplines to succeed even in college.
It allowed me to have time to excel in my sport, which I'm passionate about.
Homeschooling has equipped me with the skills to lead people and manage businesses.
It encouraged me to be a servant leader and make a godly impact in other people's lives.
Homeschooling has helped me be more disciplined so I can focus on my sports and hobbies.
It empowered me to pursue a more purposeful path, even in my passions like business, all for His glory.
During the pandemic, it was hard for us to manage the resort because we had no guests. Since we're in the hospitality and tourism business, we weren't able to earn or generate income. So God taught me, especially through homeschooling, we should just do whatever we have to do right now. I learned to trust God and be faithful with what God has entrusted me.
I'm grateful for homeschooling because it's empowered me to take advantage of opportunities.
If I wasn't homeschooled, I wouldn't have been able to pursue music as excellently as I desired.
I'm grateful for homeschooling because it gave me the power to succeed in sports.
Homeschooling was worth it because it allowed me to pursue more aspects of my career.
Homeschooling was worth it because it connected me with like-minded individuals who share the same passion to positively impact society by being a servant leader.
As a product of homeschooling, and now that I embrace my role as a parent, I really do want what is best for my child. So therefore, I choose homeschooling.